today because this is God's man. And this is God's man demanding justice. Justice from America. And if America refuses to hear God's call through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, there will be more Hurricane Joaquins. There will be more tornadoes and earthquakes. It is time for America to know that God is present. To the whole world that is watching, to all that are gathered here today, let us receive the only man that can tell us what justice is and what justice looks like. Please help me to welcome the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. People who are afraid of the enemy. When we demand justice, it takes strength and courage. This is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a man given to us by God himself. Let us receive the man of the hour, the man of this time. He is the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Please receive. 82 years young and championed the cause of freedom and justice for over 60 years. God has blessed us with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. I hate being behind this glass. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we give Him praise and thanks for all of His prophets and the scriptures which they brought. We thank Him for Moses and the Israelite prophets that gave us the Torah, or the Old Testament. We thank Him for Jesus, who gave us the Injil, or the Gospel, and the apostles that gave us what is called the New Testament. We thank Him for Muhammad ibn Abdullah, through whom the last revelation to humanity before the judgment of this present world, that book is called the Holy Quran. I am a student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I could never thank Allah enough for His merciful intervention in our affairs, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who is in the world and is championing the liberation struggle of our people, particularly in the United States of America. I greet all of you, my dear and wonderful brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. First, I want to say to all of you, I am honored beyond words to be here standing on this rostrum in front of this hallowed building, in front of I don't know how many, I'm not going to guess, but I thank Almighty God, Allah, for every single one of you that decided to answer the call to demand justice or else. I watched the program in my hotel room, and I want to say how happy I am to be a part of such a great showing of unity of the Aboriginal people of our planet. I want our Native American family and Brother Night Wolf, my brother, I'm sorry that they cut you a little short, but I want you to know how favored you are as a Native American giant standing for his people. The native people who came in their native dress, this is not like going to a football game with the Redskins. They are not here as some mascot. They are here because they are the original owners of this part of the earth, and we honor them with the honor that they are justly due. Their suffering in their land is very great. So all of those who cry for justice, no cry is greater than those who have suffered the most. And those who have suffered the most are the indigenous people, not only of America, but of the Western Hemisphere, and those of us who were brought into America not as pilgrims, not as Puritans, not seeking another way of worship, but in the holds of ships to be made the burden bearers of the real citizens of America. It's hypocritical for us to say that we are citizens and we are still trying to get civil rights while at the same time we are denied the human right of self-determination. I'm honored to be here in front of this great house that was built by black slaves. So I don't think I'm encroaching on any American by standing on the ground that was paid for with the sweat and the blood of our ancestors.
Amen.
I'm honored to be here and am grateful to Congressman Danny Davis for having shepherded through both houses a joint resolution that allows us to be on the Capitol steps. I was so touched by our Native brothers and sisters and our Hispanic brothers and sisters, and some who are black may say, Farrakhan, why are you talking to all of these different ethnicities? We have to accept our position. I loved my sister and those standing with her who championed the call that Black Lives Matter. I felt so happy to see her and to hear her and to know, and for her to know that she and Black Lives Matter are welcome, have a cherished spot because they represent the future leadership. These are not just young people who happen to wake up one morning. Ferguson ignited it all. So all the brothers and sisters from Ferguson, all the brothers and sisters that laid in the streets, all the brothers and sisters that challenged the tanks, we are honored that you have come to represent our struggle and our demand. Again, I'm grateful for the choir that sung and the brothers and sisters that sang, for Brother Rasul Muhammad and his wonderful song that he wrote about the great liberator Emiliano Zapata, and to all of you who made this day so far what it is. Every member of the clergy that prayed this morning, the Muslims, the Christians, the various prayers that were said, the native people who have their native places, their teepees and whatnot on the grounds. They're sacred people. And they deserve justice. And we, in unity, will not only get justice for ourselves, but justice for all those who are deprived of that precious essential of life itself. On this beautiful mall, which was a slave center hundreds of years ago, right here, down this mall, there used to be slave pens. And in that movie, 12 Years a Slave, the black brother was brought here, down on the my left side, your right side, in a little yellow house where he was severely beaten before he was sent off to be a slave unjustly for 12 years. I feel the cry of our ancestors, the pain of those on whose shoulders we stand. I feel that the ancestors are happy that a young generation has arisen. I saw the faces of the young in line trying to come in, and they made it, I guess, safe, but they made it difficult. But the young stood in their place until they could get in, because that's who we work for. We who are getting older, and I'm speaking now of myself and my generation, what good are we if we don't prepare young people to carry the torch of liberation to the next step? What good are we if we think we can last forever and not prepare others to walk in our footsteps? So to the young that are here, we honor you. We know who you are, and we will not forsake our duty to you. There are some elders that are not worthy to pass on the legacy of their cowardice to our young people. Our young people will not listen to those made in America, made by America, and want to bow down in America to that which has given them hell. These young people are looking for fearless leadership, but leadership that cannot be bought. Leadership that is willing to sacrifice its life to see a better future for our children. I'm honored that my brother and friend Flake is here, who is a great fighter in Chicago. I'm honored that Cora Master Barry is here, and I thank Allah for her and her dear departed husband, who really showed us the way. I thank Allah for all of you who want to sacrifice in some way to make a difference. There can be no freedom, no justice, no equity without the willingness of some to sacrifice for the rest. What good is life if we're not free? What good is it to be alive and every day that you live, you see your people suffering? What good is it to be continue in life under tyranny? So there must come a time when we say enough is enough. It must change. And I am willing to do whatever it takes to bring about that change. I thank Allah for Brother Makandan from Haiti, and Brother Vladimir from the Dominican Republic, two great brothers that Islam has brought together. But the machinations of white supremacy is trying to keep apart. Haiti and the Dominican Republic used to be called Hispaniola. And it's the first place that the wicked one, Columbus, set his feet. Tomorrow they say it's his birthday. I think it's tomorrow or the day after, Monday. But no indigenous people want to celebrate a man who came and dislodged them. A man who came seeking a new route to India and ended up in America. And when they saw the original people that they saw, well, they must be Indians. Because we white folk don't make mistakes like that. But they're not just Indians, nor are we African Americans. We were here before a continent named Africa was named. We were certainly here before America's Vespucius, and this part of the world was named after him. So we don't diminish ourselves by naming ourselves after Johnny-come-latelys. We are the aboriginal people of our planet, and before there was a planet, we were here with God in the beginning.
Amen.
Black woman,
Amen.
you are not the second self of man alone. You are the second self of God. And as the second self of God, any man that would disrespect a female is an enemy of God, because she is the greatest gift from God to a man. May I pause for a moment and say to women, your language must change as to how you address yourselves. You should never call another woman a bitch. Get that word out of our language. No female is after a dog. Every female is after God. So all of you black men that like to use such words, pull it out of your tongue before your tongue is pulled out of your head. Every woman is from the Creator. Her womb is the workshop of God.
Some say it's heaven.
So when a man sees a woman, he should bow in honor to her. The Native Americans can teach us much in the respect of women. I've been up on the reservations, I've been in the Anipi, I've been to some of their ceremonies. And the native people, the men, draw blood, hanging from trees and carrying skulls of animals in dirt attached to the flesh of their back in tremendous pain. until the flesh snaps and blood pours out. The native people do that to pay honor to the woman, for she is in labor, enduring the pain of death to bring forth new life. And there's always a show of blood before the birth. So the man is trying to equal himself up to the woman. That means that the native man who disrespects your female, you have lost your way. And any black man under the sound of our voice, any red man, any yellow man that will traffic in women and girls, you are worthy of death itself. Now, through the womb of a woman, every great one was born, and every no good one was born. But my dear sisters who are here today, if you are expecting, I would love for you to place your right hand over your womb. And I want to ask Allah that every woman who is pregnant, that she would bring her child to term. And I pray that that child will be a warrior for a brand new world. And that brand new world will come out of the womb of women with strong men as their protectors. Now, it is your body. You can do with it as you please. But it would be so tragic if the next Sitting Bull was aborted. It would be tragic if the next Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or the next Moses or Abraham or Jesus was flushed away. You don't know who your child is going to be.
Amen.
If you are wise, your child could be the answer to your prayers. Why do you pray, brothers and sisters? You pray that things would be made better. You whose fathers or mothers or cousins or aunts have died from cancer, don't you want to see a cure for such a disease? That cure is not coming out of the sky. That cure is coming from the womb of a female that may think she is not important. But out of that womb could come the cure of every disease that humankind is suffering from. There was a strange circumstance around my birth. And my mother did not wish to carry me to term. And in those days, they didn't have abortion clinics. women who wanted to abort the new life used hangers, metal hangers. My mother tried 3 times to abort my life because the circumstances under which she was pregnant were uncomfortable for her. And she didn't want to face what my being a child, light-skinned, when the man she was with was dark-skinned, and so was she. And she wouldn't be able to tell him that I was his. So after the 3rd time trying to abort my life, she said, "Let it be." And she prayed and prayed for God to come into her life and give her peace and strengthen her for what she thought she would have to face. She didn't know that those circumstances and her prayers went into what was in her womb. She didn't know that her insecurity because of a circumstance made her feel secure in the prayers she was sending up to God. And so she gave birth to a child who knew God from an early age. She gave birth to a child that never in my life did I find refuge in any man. My refuge and my protection was always grounded in my faith in a superior being. So many people wonder, why is Farrakhan so bold? It's because I am free from fear. How could Farrakhan tell the FBI and the CIA and the IRS to go to hell when others tremble at their name? They don't have a name big enough to make a man who has been shown the arm of God to be afraid of a man who can never do to me nothing more than what God would have them to do. And if he permits it, I'm for it, even if it's my death. Our problem is there's too much fear among us. And fear is what takes a man and makes him a punk. Women are showing more strength. As Sister Ava said earlier, she's the natural protector of what her womb produces. And sisters, you should never love any man more than the love you have for what your womb produced if that man becomes a violator of your child. Knowing God, not talking God, but knowing God is what takes fear from your heart. A fearful people can't be free. A fearful people will bow down when it appears that the enemy is so strong and we are so weak. As I was preparing this morning to come, I was thinking about us who are preachers, who can quote the Psalms. The Lord is my strength and he is my salvation. Of whom then shall I fear? Of whom then shall I be made afraid? But then when the enemy comes and challenges his words, we find him weakening, running away, leaving the sheep to be eaten by the wolves. That's why Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd will lay down his life for the sheep. Any man in leadership that is not willing to give his life for the flock that supports him and feeds him and clothes him is not worthy of being a leader. Many